organized and to manage our time as well, if you all can just use the chat box, type in the questions you all have during the session, starting from now. We will be able to get back to you with the answers for the questions you all have. At the end of the session, we have a separate Q&A session planned for you all. So we know you guys have a lot of questions. Also, if you guys stay till the very end of the webinar, we will be giving you with a small little something to make you all happy, so that there's for you all to bring something home from from participating at the webinar. So we all invite you to stay with us till the very end of the webinar to get your special surprise. Okay, so I say everybody has joined. We will formally start off with the session today. Hope everybody's having a fantastic time enjoying Alberta, its beauties, its natural beauties, and everything the province has to offer, because we know Alberta is a very popular province among the Canada provinces, because a lot of people from other provinces are moving in. And because of the same reason, living in Alberta, getting PR through its nomination program has become competitive. And what we are trying to do is to find our space among all these competitive people. So today we will see how we can help you to secure one of those lucky positions in the Alberta Immigrant Nominee Program. So what we are trying to do is, first I will introduce the team and our speaker, and as well as a little bit of ourselves. And then I'll lay out the basic structure of the webinar today, and then you all can go ahead with listening carefully to what our speaker has to say. Today with us, we have Mr. Sachira Vimalavira, barrister and solicitor, regulated Canadian immigration consultant. So he will be conducting the session mainly. If you all can see my screen, we also have Miss Judith Vessel with us, our associated lawyer. She's also a barrister and solicitor. Her expertise is mainly criminal law and family law. If you all have any questions or concerns, issues coming up in those areas, you all can contact us so we can direct your concern to Miss Judith to handle. So I know most of you all know us by the name Ardent. So we have two entities, Ardent Immigration Inc. and as well as Ardent Law Group. Ardent Law Group is the law firm based in Alberta, Canada. And we are taking care of a lot of legal issues stemming from civil law, business law, immigration law, corporate law, criminal law. Most of the areas of laws are covered by us, as well as real estate law. When it comes to Ardent Immigration, its exclusive area of service is immigration law. But even though we are two entities, we as a whole team try to provide all our clients with a comprehensive package of service. So you all don't have to go to places to get your legal services done. Since most of you all are in Alberta or Canada already, we are based in Canadian offices based in Calgary. Downtown. We will share the contact details at the end of the session. And the Sri Lankan office is based in Kolpiti, Bambalapitiya, Kalam. So in today's webinar, what we are planning to talk about is what is basically what the Alberta Nominee Program is. What are the streams under which you can apply for this program? So during the session, Mr. Sachira will explain to you the requirements you all have to fulfill under each of these categories, as well as if you all have little tactic questions, what if this happens, what if that happens, those should go into the chat box right now. So we will be able to answer those questions at the end of the session. So without taking any more of your time, I will invite Mr. Sachira to start the session off. So hopefully by the end of the entrepreneur program, you will have a lot of more knowledge and more details about the Alberta Nominee Program, and hopefully you will have, I'd say, confidence in us, for you to like retain our services to guide you through the AIP program, Alberta Nominee Program, until your permanent residence. So, Mr. Sashira, over to you. I will stop for now.
Okay. Thank you, Kamali. Let me share my screen with you. Okay. I hope you all can see my screen. So, good morning, whoever in Canada. Believe good evening, good night for whoever joining from outside Canada. So, without any delay, we'll discuss about mainstream. So, during this webinar, what I'll be discussing is what are the streams that Alberta Nominee Program offer? What is the eligibility requirement? And then if you're gonna apply for EOI, what are the requirements that you should fulfill first thing, and then I'll be discussing about the express entry, right? Because I know when it comes to the processing time that become a huge concerns of most of our client. So then get it done their PR as soon as possible is really important. So, and then after that, we'll discuss at the end, like a little bit about the express entry, what are our predictions, and then and down the road, I'll be discussing about some success stories and also how we success those cases, and what are the complex situations that we came across during those stories, which will be definitely benefit. I can highly guarantee you. I know like some of our clients also has joined. So they are in the process of they have created the EOI and we're waiting for nomination. So today mainly I'm going to talk about the main four streams that Alberta nominee offer is a rural entrepreneur, mainly the rural like a renewal stream, tourism and hospital stream, Alberta opportunity streams, and then Alberta express entry stream. They have four entrepreneur streams as well, which is the rural renewal streams, graduate entrepreneur stream, farm stream, and the foreign graduate entrepreneur stream. So first of all, we'll talk about the tourism and hospitality stream. So when we talk about this tourism and hospitality stream, the reason why rather than going through the presentation, I decided to go through the website. It's more easy for clients to familiar with the website because it gives the right information. And also they always update this information. If you are planning to apply, so you better familiar with the with the website. So when it comes to mainly this stream, this is a stream for temporary foreign workers, especially like who are on LMIA based work permit, who are working full time in Alberta, and also at the same time in tourism and hospitality sector, right, with the eligible occupation. So if you fall in these criteria, you can apply for that. You can apply for this program. So when it comes to this program, if I say it again, this is the tourism and hospitality stream criteria. This apply at the time of your application, all right? And also when they assess in the application, if you are fall in this category, then you're gonna receive the invitation. But if when you apply for the program and also at the same time when they assess in the program, if you are not in these requirements, then they might send you a request documents asking more information, or otherwise they can, refuse your nomination, or they might not send you the invitation. So when you see this program, other thing is, uh, before we go into the eligible occupation, it's your responsibility to make sure that your employer also eligible for this, for this stream. So this is at the time of your application, when you're submitting the application, that your employer's primary business activities should belong to the eligible industry. Not only that, and also at the time that you submit the application, you show that your employer has valid WCB coverage. But if that employer is exempt from the WB coverage, then you should have this WCB clearance letter. So it's your responsibility to make sure that your employer also eligible to this stream, not only you. All right. So when we talk about this WCB eligible industries, you can see in the website, these are the WCB eligible industries, and they have their own code as well, which you should be really careful, because we have client who came for consultation, and then when I asked from them, are you sure that your employer is eligible? They have no idea. So then we have to postpone the consultation, saying you check with your employer, get the documents from the employer. Unfortunately, most of our candidate could get those information from the employer. Sometimes the employer say, don't worry, then I'm going to support for your nominees and the PR and all. But when they ask those information, they are not eligible. So you should make sure when you start your process, not only your employer also eligible for that. And then we'll talk about the sector association. Sector associations mean when you submit your application, your employer should be a member of eligible sector association. Now the question is, what is this sector associations are? If you see the website, based on the sector, there are associations that they should be the members of. So these are the based on accommodations, mean if it is like the hotels, like that, food and beverage, maybe the restaurants, like that. So based on that, the industry that your employer in, they should be the members of these associations. Now we'll talk about the eligible occupations. When it comes to the tourism and hospitality stream, for this stream, these are the eligible occupation and the NOC codes. Most of our clients are chefs, cook, food services supervisors, restaurant managers, accommodation services managers, help front desk clerks, waiters, which is food and beverage servers, right? Cleaners, light duty cleaners. So most of our clients falls into this category. So if you are in this, and if your occupation falls under this category, then you can apply for this like a tourism and hospitality stream. So when you talk about the current employment, right, at the time you submit your application, that means the EOI, you should be living and working in Alberta in that eligible occupation that I mentioned. And also you should have a valid work permit based on the LMIA, all right? And also the other thing is, this is the main part. If you are in maintenance status, this not gonna consider as a valid work permit. And also the other work permit also not gonna consider under this. When it comes to the maintenance status, let's say, for example, you are in LMIA based work permit, right? Your work permit expired. You applied for the extension. You're waiting for your new work permit. we call the maintain status. There's one client. By the time we create the EOI, he came as a roofer. So then we applied for the work permit extension. By the time we apply for work permit extension, he has the valid work permit. But once the EOI was processing, his interim authorization was about to expire, right? And then we had to contact the immigration and push them through the multiple web forms, multiple calls to get the work permit. So even the Alberta, like the nomination office, even call him saying that we have to, reject your nomination. You're eligible for everything, but you are on implied status, unless otherwise that you receive your work permit by the end of your interim authorization. I mean, the officer is good. He's went beyond these rules and then gave him an opportunity. But fortunately, he got the work permit. We submit the work permit. Then next day he got the nomination. So this maintain status, you shouldn't be in maintain status, but there are some instances they give that opportunity if you have the interim authorization to work by the time that your profile is in the pool. So when it comes to the working experience, this is also going to be another important thing. At the time that you submit your application, that means not your application is processing. By the time during that when you submit your application, you should have minimum 6 consecutive months. Minimum 6 consecutive months, you should have minimum working experience for that. So when it comes to the working experience, those should be the same employer because most of all the clients, employers, they got the call from the provincial office saying whether they are currently working. If you change your employer, you better inform them, right? But I would recommend till the time you receive the nomination, try your best to stay with the same employer. There may be sometimes exceptional, when even though they move to the same different employer, but with the same occupation, that would, it didn't an issue, but I always recommend try to stay with the same employer at least during the invitation and by the time during your nomination is processing. And also it should be paid, right? And also you should be authorized to work. So when it comes to the job offer and the employment contract, I know many of our clients had issue. What is the difference between the job offer and the employment contract? I think it's best to mention this from the beginning because this thing gonna come in all the streams. When it comes to the job offer, it should be in the letterhead, your name, NOC code, the exact position, job duties. So when it comes to the job duties, at least 80% of job duties should equal to the government website. How much you're getting paid per hour or annually, how much you're getting paid, permanent, full-time, and also the person who's signing the letter should mention if immigration or if the provincial office or the IRCC has any question, they should be able to contact via email or phone number. When it comes to employment contract is if you're unable to take a job offer, the initial contract that you'll be getting, so it is more more comprehensive document, many documents, not like 1 or 2 pages, like the job offer they mentioned about, especially about your leave, and then the gratuity, vacation, and then if you're going to terminate, what going to be the rules and regulations, and if you're going to quit, what going to be the rules and regulations, those kind of things. So you can upload both the documents. So whatever the documents you're getting, either job offer or the employment contract, it should be the full-time job offer. Full-time means 30 hours per week. You should be working 6 months. And then by the time when you submit your application, you should be with the same employer who's giving you the job offer. Other main thing is there are ineligible occupations, even though you have a job offer. Maybe you're working 30 hours per week, you've been working 12 months, that's fine. But still, if it is part-time, casual, or the seasonal employees, regardless of working hours, it's not a valid job offer. And also, if you are applying from your own company, you may be a director, shareholder, or a contractor, or the business owner, you're not going to eligible. If it is a home-based business, then it's not going to eligible. if you are an employee who do not work on a premises in Alberta, that means your employer's physical location is not in Alberta, then it's not going to apply. For example, you may be living in Alberta, but your employer physical location is in Toronto. You work in virtually. Then the virtual location not going to work, right? So then make sure you are not fall into this category. Then when you submitting your EOI. When it comes to language requirement, pretty straightforward. Minimum requirement is each band 4 or higher, maybe English, maybe French. So these are the eligible, test. Other main thing is this is a really good part that you should, you should take into consideration. I know that all of you guys know it's 2 years, but the issue is when these 2 years start, the date determined from the date you took the test, not from the test that the results were issued. That may be like when it comes to the CELPIP, you're getting within 2 to 3 days. IELTS computer based also 2 to 3 days, but if it is a paper based, I believe it's taking like about 2 weeks. So make sure that the date of the test is the date that the starting this 2 years. So when it comes to education requirement, the minimum is high school. If you have outside Canada education as your highest education qualification, then you should provide the ECA. So this is regarding the Alberta Opportunity Stream. Sorry, a tourism and hospitality stream. And also other thing is I'll go through in the last slides, but with the new 2026 allocations, we get only 150 allocations. That is the other. I don't think it's a good sign. It's not a good sign, to be honest, because we have only just 150 allocation. So for 2026, the province of Alberta, we got almost 6,403 allocations. So out of those 6,403, we have only 150. So it's not a good number compared to the other streams in Alberta. So the next stream that I'm going to talk about, the opportunity stream. So before I start, I can tell you the good news. From the Alberta nomination allocations, we have almost 3,425. Out of 6,403, we have 3,425 allocations. So when it comes to the numbers wise, as a law firm and also as a lawyer and also an immigration consultant, when I always instruct and advise my client, I always to look at the numbers, past numbers, then we can guess how these the immigration streams will behave in the future. Right now, if you have heard the immigration minister's speech, what she specifically says, we have an immigration system which gonna apply for everyone. That's why we face this issue. But right now, they introducing immigration systems which according to the country needs. So that's why these allocations, PAL, and then category-based draws, PGWP, eligible and not eligible programs, and then they are allocating almost 5,000 new allocations for French speakers, French speakers. These kind of things are introduced because earlier, before 2024, all these new things introduced, there was no system like that. Right. So we'll come back to again this Alberta opportunity stream. So when it comes to the Alberta opportunity stream, right? So again, when you submit your application and when they assessing your application, you should have the requirement completed. That's the main thing. When it comes to the residency and the work permit requirement, when you submit your application, you should have the valid temporary residence status in Canada, right? That means you are authorized to work. You should be a temporary foreign work permit. When it comes to the eligible applicants, Again, you should have a valid work permit, not status maintained during the processing or the restoration status. You should not fall into this if you have already applied for this stream or if you are going to apply for this stream. Other thing is they talk about what is this valid work permit mean. Valid work permit is the positive LMIA based work permit, or there are work permit who are LMIA exempt. That means if you have a work permit based on the international trade agreements, workers transferred within the company, which is intercompany transfers, international experience Canada, Francophone program, religious workers, like that. And also, if you are a vulnerable worker, who's this vulnerable worker mean? You may be on LMIA base or LMIA exempt work permit, but your employer is not paying you properly, or otherwise you are subject to sexual or the physical abuse verbally, then you can apply for an open work permit. So if you're a vulnerable worker, also you're gonna fall under you can apply to Alberta Opportunity Stream. And the other thing is, if you are a postgraduate work permit holder and you graduated from an institute, publicly funded post-secondary institution in Alberta, then you can apply for Alberta Opportunity Stream. So next thing, if you talk about the ineligible applicants, if you are a refugee claimant, if you're a temporary resident who's living or working in a province other than Alberta, if you are a foreign national living or working in Canada who do not have a temporary resident status. Temporary resident status means if you're on employed status, if you're on restoration status, then this is not gonna, you cannot apply for this program. Now we'll talk about the occupation requirement. So when it comes to occupation requirement, like I said earlier, at the time you submit your application, you should be working in the eligible occupation in Alberta, right? You should have the working experience and the job offer. In eligible occupation, they have come across a couple of occupations which are not eligible to apply for Alberta Opportunity Stream. One of the main things that I need to mention is we also have we have done the LMIA based work permits to these categories, right? If you are early childhood educator, if you do not have a certification through Alberta Children's Services, that means Child Care Staff Clarification Office, or if you have the Alberta Level 1 Early Childhood Educator, then you're not be eligible. But if level 2, level 3, you're eligible for that. Elementary and secondary school teacher assistants are not eligible to Alberta Opportunity Stream, but you're eligible to apply for express entry education category. So these are the categories that you're not eligible to apply for Alberta Opportunity Stream. So especially for the postgraduate work permit holders, that means the students who graduated from Alberta Institute, maybe University of Alberta, University of Calgary, Mount Royal University, Bow Valley College, SAIT, and all the other publicly funded Alberta institutes, right? Main thing is, you may be on PGWP holder, but your occupation must related to the field that you studied. This is very important, right? Then you're eligible for the Alberta Opportunity Stream. When it comes to the language requirement, if you are job in NOC 0123, minimum 5 on each level, each module, speaking, reading, writing, speaking, writing, reading, and listening. And then when it comes to the NOC 405, if you're working at occupation NOC 405, then your CLB level should be 4 on each level. And then this is the other main thing. If you are applying under NOC code 33102, that means the nursing aid, like this, then your CLB should be 7 in each level. So these are the admitted tests that you can do. Again, the year to start from the date that you took the test. So when it comes to the education requirement, right, all applicants except for postgraduate work permit holders, right, you should have the minimum high school level education. Or otherwise, if you haven't studied in Canada, then you have to provide your ECA if your highest education qualification is outside Canada. Right? Like that. And then the other main thing is for PGWP holders, these are the programs who will be eligible. I mean, when it comes to any streams, you should have the working experience, you should have a job offer, you should have the education requirement. So if you are claiming points from the education in Alberta, you should do a post-diploma certificate of minimum 1 year, diploma program of minimum 2 years, bachelor's degree, graduate certificate, graduate diplomas like this, or the master's degree, gonna apply for that. When it comes to the working experience, when you're doing your EOI, I'll show you how to do the EOI at the end of the program. Your current occupation should be the occupation that you are working at the time that you submit your application. This is very important. Your current occupation should be the occupation or the work experience that you are doing at the time that you submit your application. So other main part is eligible working experience. You should have the 12 months working experience in your current occupation in the last 18 months. So, or otherwise, a minimum of 24 months of working experience in your current occupation in Canada or abroad within the last 30 months, right? This can be a working experience combination of gain in Alberta, in Canada, or abroad. So if you are a postgraduate work permit holder, you should have the minimum 6 months full-time working experience within last 18 months. So this working experience should be full-time, even though you are a postgraduate work permit holder or LMIA-based work permit holder. Full-time, minimum 30 hours of experience per week. Same occupation as your current occupation. You should have the valid temporary residence, right? Other thing is, this is specifically for PGWP holders. If you gain the working experience while you studying in Canada, and if you gain working experience as your core placement or internship as part of your program, that working experience cannot be counted. But you are a PGWP holder, you completed during this working experience during paid co-op permits as part of your study in this approved Alberta post-secondary institution, then you are eligible. It's paid full-time, that means 30 hours per week, work experience directly related to your current occupation, and you gain this working experience in Canada. All right. And the other thing is the licensing. There are some occupations in Canada who need the license, registration, those kind of things. For example, lawyers. So include the PGWP holders. If there's a licensing or the registration or a certification required, you should have that one. And also, if you're working in a compulsory trade in Alberta, you should have the valid Alberta apprenticeship or the industry trade certificate. And this is the other main part that I mentioned earlier. If you're a child worker, you should have the level 2 early childhood educator or level 3 early childhood educator. If it's level 1, you're not gonna eligible. So these are the main things regarding the Alberta opportunity stream. So again, like I mentioned earlier, ineligible applicants are part-time, casual, seasonal worker, not going to work. If your own company, not going to work. Home-based companies, not going to work. Virtually working, not going to work. So this is regarding the Alberta opportunity stream. The reason why I'm again talking about these streams, some of I know may have applied for EOI. The thing is, I do not want you to eventually receive the invitation and then come to a point to decline the invitation, because when you submit in the documents and when you uploading the documents in your portal, eventually, if you realize that you're not going to be eligible, you have to decline the application. I mean, you have to decline the invitation. Or otherwise, what's going to happen is you're not going to receive you submit the documents, you put the explanation, and then your nomination gonna decline. So during the time, the invitation and the nomination, you are hoping that you receive the nomination and then you're gonna apply for the non-express entry PR. But if your nomination rejected and then your work permit are expiring, then you're gonna be in a huge trouble. That's why I'm going through these streams for you to understand. If you think that you already apply for EOI, you can contact us and we can really see whether you are actually eligible for this program. So this is why I'm going through this stream for you to understand whether you are eligible, even though you receive the invitation, even though you create the EOI, that you receive the invitation, you upload the documents, you're waiting for the nomination, like that. Because the one of unlucky part as a consultant and a lawyer I have seen is you receive the invitation, unfortunately, you have to decline the invitation. I would say it's so unlucky. Other thing is you receive the invitation, you upload the documents, and you're waiting for the nomination. Your nomination declined because you put the explanation, provincial officer did not accept that. And then your nomination declined, and then only just few months away to your PGWP or the closed work permit expiring. And the other unlucky part is your employee is not eligible to apply for LMIA because of the area that the business is located. That's why I'm going through this. So the other thing is the Alberta Express Entry stream. So when you come to Express Entry, it's important that for you to have an Express Entry profile. So when it comes to Express Entry stream, we have the healthcare pathway, tech pathway, law enforcement pathway, and the priority sectors like the constructions, agriculture, and aviation. So when it comes to this eligibility requirement, overall, like all the pathways, if I talk about this eligibility requirement, for sure, you need to have active Express Entry profile. This valid for just 12 months. And then if it is expired, you have to create another one with your current details. And also other thing is you can always update your Express Entry profile. If you get higher IELTS, you can definitely do it right away. And if you gain a French qualification, French language requirement, update it right away, like that. So you should fall under one of these categories. I know most of you know about these categories, but we'll be hosting another webinar regarding specifically for Express Entry. And then minimum you need to have your CRS score is 300. And this is the other main part. This is very, very important. Your primary occupation in your federal Express Entry profile should identified as the occupation connected to provincial economics and sectors or the occupational priority. This is how that we have students who studied in BC, they moved to Alberta, they already have Express Entry profile. They update their profile as that they are working in this industry. Even though they studied in other province, they got the nomination through Express Entry pathway, provincial Express Entry pathway. All right. And then you and your employer should meet the requirement, right? And then you should intend to work and live permanently in Alberta. When it comes to ineligible applicants, like I said, like I showed the list earlier, that list is still apply for this. Yeah. So when it comes to the pathways, first of all, we'll talk about the healthcare pathway. So when it comes to healthcare pathway, you need to have a job offer in the eligible healthcare occupation, right? You should have an active Express Entry profile, all right? So when it comes to the eligible professionals, So these are the eligible professionals to this mainly to this to this category. So when it comes to the requirements, is to qualify for this stream. When it comes to the healthcare pathway, you have a non-express entry pathway as well, but this is the express entry pathway. You should have a valid job offer from an Alberta employer, right? And also they should have these WCB coverage. And then you should be able to provide verifiable proof that you meet the minimum requirements that mention according to the job category that you're doing. Having an active express entry profile, minimum score is 300. Your primary occupation is in this healthcare occupation, right? And you should be in one of these express entry streams, and you should have an intention to live and work permanently in Alberta. There are some so when it comes to the other misconception is there are when it comes to the healthcare professionals that you need to have a license. Yes, that's true. There are some professions you need to have a license, but there are some categories technically that you don't need the license. For example, if you go to this NOC code, there are some health industry that you don't need license. You can check on this NOC code, but we'll be discussing in our next webinar regarding express entry about these occupations what mentioned in the ESDC website. There are many categories especially in healthcare category, when it comes to Canada, they're giving priority for healthcare professionals. There are many industries you don't need a license, so like that. So we'll discuss during our next webinar regarding that. So the next one is what I'm gonna talk about is the tech pathway. So the tech pathway also same, right? The main thing is you should be working full-time with an employer who falls under technological side. So when it comes to the eligible occupations, these are the eligible occupations for the Alberta Tech pathway. So these are the NOC codes. There are many NOC codes that you can see which fall under this tech pathway. And the other thing is, I have seen sometimes you create an EOI through tech pathway, but you get the invitation through a different pathway because they have specifically mentioned in the Alberta nominee website that, so you don't have to be surprised about that. There are things happening like that. As long as you eligible for that stream, basically that's all matters. So this is the again. So again, so when it comes to tech pathway is this. So other thing is, one of a main thing is this stream, even though you are on this thing I need to highlight, even though you are on when you're working at immigration status, you must have a valid immigration status. In this stream, even though you are on implied status, you can still receive the invitation. In this category, even though it's a valid immigration status, you may be on work permit or you may be on implied status. Still, that you can receive the invitation. You can create the EOI. Again, your primary occupation should be the occupation your primary occupation when you create in the express entry profile should be your current occupation. So this is the tech pathway. When it comes to the ineligible applicants, it's the same thing that I mentioned earlier. Part-time, not going to work. Contractors, not going to work. And also if you're working for a virtual location, which is your employees outside Alberta, it's not going to work. Law enforcement pathway also same. Again, you need to have an express entry profile. Minimum score is 300. These are the NOC code, which gonna falls into that. And the other thing is when it comes to the allocations, for the tech pathway, they have given 600 allocation out of 6,403 provincial nominations. When it comes to law enforcement, only 38 allocations. And when it comes to the priority sector, if you have a job offer in construction, agriculture, or aviation occupations, they also given 600 allocations. So priority sector 600, and when it comes to tech pathway 600, and the law enforcement 38 allocations. So those are the numbers that you should be careful when you are creating the profile, because you should go with the higher number, because then it has higher possibility for you to receive the invitation. So this is regarding the express entry stream, Alberta provincial express entry stream. So then we'll talk about the non-express entry, which is connected to health category. For example, when you create a profile, if your CRS score is lower 300, then you cannot create an express entry profile. You're gonna fall under non-express entry stream. Same thing, you should have a job offer in the particular, like particular health category, and the professional thing is same. You should have a job offer from these professions, right? Everything is same. Only thing is that you don't have express entry profile. So next stream, what I'm going to talk about, this is also a very good stream, because why? This rural renewal stream. The rural renewal stream is important because whatever the stream that I spoke mostly, if you have LMIA, you currently work in Alberta. Or otherwise, you are a PGWP holder, you studied in Alberta, only eligible for those streams. But let's say, for example, you're in Toronto, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, or BC, you cannot get the invitation. Then the rural renewal stream gonna work for you, because even though that you are not studied in Alberta, you can apply for this program. But when it comes to the rural renewal stream, there are not all the employers eligible for this stream, only the employers in rural areas. First, I will talk about what are these rural areas are. These are the communities who falls under the designated communities. If your employer and also you are residing in, if you're living in these towns, these are small towns, because the province want to spread the population in these small towns as well. They have everything in these towns, even though those are not cities. These falls under the rural renewal stream. So there are sometimes based on the town's decision. Some towns they adding, they're removing. So last they updated this community list on last year, February. It's almost close to a year. They add the town of Edison, like that. So again, going back to the rural renewal stream, there are two things. The eligible requirements are, for applicants, you should be offered a full-time job in a designated community, and also you should have an endorsement from one of these designated community. And also this applicant who gonna apply for this rural renewal stream, they should be temporary workers residing in Canada with a work permit, or individual who are not in Canada. For example, let's say, you live in outside Canada, you have a job offer and the endorsement from a town of Edison, you can apply for the rural renewal stream. And also the refugee claimant. Let's say you're an applicant to economic mobility pathway pilot under this stream. If you're a refugee living outside Canada and hold a referral letter from the referral partner, then also you can apply for this program. So when it comes to requirement, I'm not going to talk about the community requirement to become a designated community. But there are other things I need to discuss, ineligible applicants. if you are a refugee claimant already in Canada, earlier I talked about refugee claimant outside Canada. This is, and also who has a referral letter from the referral partner. But don't mix up these two. This is the refugee claimant already in Canada. You're not going to eligible. And also the foreign national living in Canada, but do not have a valid work permit. Not going to eligible for the rural renewal stream. And also when it comes to the endorsement letter, they brought new rules, introduced the new rules for this program. When it comes to the rural renewal stream, they brought up some update or the new changes for the endorsement letter. When it comes to endorsement letter, they said they are limiting the endorsement letters allocations. And also right now, the endorsement letter is valid only 1 year. Plus, they're not going to issue the endorsement if your work permit is not valid 1 year or over. Let's say, for example, you have work permit valid only 6 months, they're not going to issue the endorsement. And also they're going to bring like a tier-based endorsement model. So these are the changes they're going to bring for the endorsement letters because of high demand for this program. Because the thing is, not only the people who already studied in Alberta, and also not only the people who are currently working on LMIA based work permit in Alberta eligible for that, people who are outside Canada, and not only that, the people who are outside Alberta also eligible for this program. So when it comes to the this is the what need to be included in the endorsement letter. On all these towns, there's an officer called Economic Development Officer. Employer going to communicate with that employment development officer, and then employer should show that he couldn't find someone for this position. Then they're going to issue this endorsement letter. So these are the referral partners that I said for the refugee claimants who are outside Canada. So if you talk about the occupation requirement, when you submit your application, right, you should have a valid job offer in the eligible occupation. When it comes to the eligible occupation, tier 0, 1, 2, 3, 5 eligible. However, this eligibility depends on where are you living. Where are you living? When it comes to tier 0 to 5, if you're a temporary worker who reside in Alberta and hold a valid work permit, regardless of your tier level, you can apply. But if you're a temporary worker who reside outside Alberta, but within Canada, hold a valid permit, your job offer should be tier 0 to 3. And also, the individual who reside outside Canada, your job offer should be tier 0 to 3. So if this is really important. When it comes to ineligible occupation, still that list is there, but compared to the other list is different. When it comes to the these categories, you cannot apply for this for the rural renewal stream. And then when it comes to the job offer requirement, when you submit the application, you should have a full-time job offer, and you're working in that from a business that establish and operating in the designated community. All right. And then again, if it is part-time, your own businesses, home-based businesses, working virtually, your job offer will not be eligible for the Alberta, like for the rural renewal stream. So when it comes to the working experience, this is very important. When you submit your application, you have minimum 12 months full-time working experience in an eligible occupation within at least 18 months. And also, if you are EMPP applicants, you should have 12 months working experience, very important, within last 10 years. Within last 10 years. So it should be full-time, that means minimum 30 hours, tier categories based on where you live in, and then occupation requirements also should meet. When it comes to working experience, this table is very important. If you have a job offer in tier 0, you should have the working experience in tier 0 or 1. If it's tier 1, it should be tier 0, 1, 2, 3. So this table, very important when you are creating your EOI based on your past working experience. All right. And also the other thing is for the PGWP holders, if you gain working experience while you're studying, not going to work. But if you have a paid co-op terms as part of your PGWP, right, and also as part of your study in the Alberta Institute, you will be eligible, but it should be paid full-time and work experience gained in Alberta. Right. And also the PGWP holders, they should complete their program like 2-year post-secondary education, right, from a designated institute, right? And they do not want to meet this 12 months working experience. You're a PGWP holder, you complete your program, 2-year program from a IRCC designated institute, right? Then basically you don't need in these designated communities, right? Then you don't need the 12 years working experience. So licensing requirements are there, like I mentioned earlier. If it is licensing required, trade certificates required should be there. Level 2, level 3 for early childhood educators. Language requirement again, NOC 0, 1, 2, 3, CLB 5 for each. If it is NOC 4 or 5, it's for minimum. CLB 4 for all, each English modules. When it comes to the education requirement, again, the minimum high school. If it is not, you should provide your ECA. When it comes to settlement funds, when you submit your application and when they're assessing your application, you should show that you have sufficient funds to support yourself and the family members when you're settling down in this designated community if you are not residing in Canada or if you are not currently in Canada but not working. But if you are residing in Canada, don't worry about settlement fund. But you should show money, but you don't have to meet this requirement. Let's say, for example, if you are currently in Canada, but you are not working, then you should meet that one. If you're applied outside Canada, you should meet these settlement funds. So this is regarding the Alberta rural renewal stream. So these are the main 4 streams that I wanted to discuss with you regarding this stream, but I'll go over the entrepreneur streams as well. I know, we have a couple of clients who already in the process with us. They are currently working on LMIA based work permit, but they're willing to take over that business from their employer. And we have some PGWP, who studied, but they want to start their own businesses. So we have this foreign, a graduate entrepreneur stream, rural renewal stream. I'll start with the rural renewal stream because that's one of my favorite stream, which we have many years of working experience in this stream. When it comes to the entrepreneur, it's very important, this one. Entrepreneur is a person who set up a business with the aim of making profit. Entrepreneur is not a person, their sole purpose is just getting the PR in Canada. This should be really important. You should keep in mind. And then when it comes to when it comes to this, they mentioned that the rural Alberta communities are the communities that the population is less than 100,000. Right? This also should be keep in mind, and they have their participating communities, right? So the candidates who interested in this program should connect with the community contact person. That means the economic development officer. They should discuss their business proposals, and also they should schedule expository visits. These visits you can do even online, or you can do physically visiting to Canada. This program can apply even though you are living in Canada you currently own a business in a rural community, you can still apply for this rural entrepreneur stream. And also they made very lenient rules as well regarding this stream. If I talk a little bit about this exploratory visit, like I said, right, you should complete a report regarding that down the road in the process. All right. And then this can be in person, or this can be a web-based video conferencing as well. And also you should required to submit a visit report, right, with the business application, right? Because the reason why, when you're buying a business that doesn't mean that you're buying something from Amazon or some like online. You should meet people. You should meet the community, like, related town people in the town office. You should have the meetings. You should have the minutes for that. Business cards. These should be submitted. Right, like that. And also, if I talk about when we talk about this report a little bit more, right? So you should make your professional business business service providers or the settlement organizations that helping you regarding that. You should provide a descriptive activities, whether it's in person, whether it's web-based, like online, and also this business cards of the business owners or the people that you met, right? And also the details of visit of the existing business locations or meeting with the current owners. These kind of things should mention there. When it comes to the eligibility for this program, you should have minimum 3 years working experience as an active business owner or a manager, or a minimum 4-year experience as a senior manager. You should have the high school equivalency minimum. Language requirement is CLB4 for each level. Minimum net worth is 300,000. This can be the assets of your own personal holdings, maybe shares, house, stocks, jewelries, those kind of things, or of your spouse or common law partner. The minimum is investments is 100,000. Earlier it was 200,000. They reduced to 100,000. This is the other important part. You should have the ownership of 51% of if it is a new business. Your business partner should be Canadian citizen or the permanent residence, or otherwise, you should have the 100% ownership of the business. When it comes to job creation, you should create at least one full-time job to a Canadian citizen or a permanent residence. You create more job, you're going to get more points. And also, you should have the community support letter from the participating community. There are factors that you can increase your chances of receiving the invitation. If your age is 21 to 49, it's good. If your spouse or the common law partner completed 1 year of full-time post-secondary education, right, that would be great. If he or she has CLB4 in each level, that would be great. If you have a relative in this category, then there's an increase in chances of you receiving the invitation. So when it comes to the points, you can see based on the area, if it's less than 10,000, it's going to be, you're getting 25 points. And when it comes to your working experience, you're getting points. If you are a senior manager, you're getting points. And then based on the investments, you're getting points. If it's 800 or more, you're getting 20 points. You're getting the net worth, you're getting points. Job creation, more job created, you're going to get more points. So these kind of things. And the language, you get higher points. Education, you get more points. And so these kind of factors are there that you're going to get points. And then the total is out of 175. So these are the point system that you're gonna get. So when it comes to the ineligibility, there are some streams that you're not eligible. I'm not gonna go like in detail for that. But when it comes to these streams, these are the things that you need to have eligible. But let's say, for example, that you have a business or you intending to have a business not in this area, and you graduated from an institute, Alberta. This graduate entrepreneur stream gonna work for you. I'll go through about the eligibility, right? When it comes to the education, you have completed at least 2-year full-time education, right? From an Alberta institute, and then you are on PGWP, right? By the time you create your EOI, you have CLB 7, and then you want to establish a new business or buy an existing business in Alberta. Your ownership is minimum 34%, not in the eligible businesses, right? Then you are eligible for that. And if your business partners, other business partners should be Canadian citizens or the permanent residents. The factors that you can increase if you have minimum 6 months full-time working experience, this can be a combination of actively managing or the businesses is good. And then other thing is working experience also can be acquired from outside Canada or within Canada. And also this can be before or after completing your Alberta education. So these are the economic benefits that you need to show, which increase you're receiving the invitation. And then age is 21 to 49. And also if your spouse studied at least 1 year continuous work at least 1 year continuous full-time employment in Alberta, or like the 2-year full-time study in an Alberta institute, CLB 5 in English, and also you have relatives, then there's a possibility that you're going to receive, it increases your possibility of receiving the invitation. So again, they have their point system, which based on whatever that you mentioned in your EOI. So if you're someone who's interested of this program, as a law firm, we can help you regarding your incorporating, and then purchase and sales agreement, asset purchase agreements, these kind of things as well. So this is regarding that. And when it comes to this, other thing is this farm stream. I'll go through a little bit about that. So you should prove your farm managing skills, right? You should provide these documents in order to apply for program, and then you should invest minimum of 500,000 to qualify for that, and you should be able to prove the documents about this amount as well. That is regarding the farm program. And then this is the program for the foreign graduate. You are a foreign graduate and you want to start a business in Alberta, you can apply for this program. So this also kind of support to economically development of the province of Alberta. If you're applying, these are the designated agencies that you should contact regarding that. When it comes to eligibility criteria, same as the graduate stream, 6 months working experience may be combined, and then completed a degree or the from a post-secondary education outside Canada. And then this degree must be completed within last 10 years. When you submit your EOI, you should provide the rest. So you should have a business plan with the projected financials, right? And you should provide a 10 minutes presentation regarding your business plan. CAB level 5 in each band, each modules. You should have minimum 34 ownership, right? And then the business should not be in ineligible businesses, and also partners should be Canadian citizens or the permanent residents. So it depending on the area, the investment going to be 100,000 to 50,000. You need to have a letter of recommendation. You should show the settlement funds, these things. And then based on this, based on the area that, and also how many, the population, this is the settlement funds based on your family members. And this is how, based on that, you're gonna get these points. If whoever interested about that, we can definitely do a consultation, right? And we can see whether they are eligible. And then if they're eligible, we do have a pool of employers also who's selling their businesses. We have the business brokers who are we are connected with. We can help you regarding that. So this is regarding the foreign graduate stream. So these are the mainly 8 streams that the Alberta Nominee Program offer. So the other thing I need to discuss a little bit about the allocations. When it comes to the allocations for this year, for 2026, there are 6,403 allocations for this year. Already 111 nominations were issued. As of now, the way that they have updated, we have only 6,292 spaces. We'll see how these spaces has been allocated to each state. I'll come to this additional federal spaces later. When it comes to the Alberta Opportunity Stream, remaining 3,355. Altogether, 3,425 nominations were given. 70 issued. I'll discuss only about what is remaining. 3,355. Rural renewal, still we have 1,000. When it comes to the tourism, they have allocated 150. We have 140 remaining. When it comes to healthcare, we have 500 allocations. Express entry pathway. For tech pathway, there are 600 remaining. Law enforcement, 38. And then priority sectors 600 remaining. When it comes to entrepreneur, 90 spots remaining. And this is how for the how that the invitations and everything issued for last year, last couple of years that they have mentioned. So this is regarding the allocation. So based on that, you can plan your EOI. Because the thing is, you cannot have EOI for several streams. You need to choose which one you're gonna apply. So I would invite take into consideration when you apply for EOI. If it is like 100, 150 or 200, the possibility is lower. If it is like over 1,000 or higher, then the possibility is higher. And then I'll talk about, this is the other very important document, how they're going to calculate your marks based on your education, based on where you live in, based on your language, CRB level, and English and French, and based on your working experience, how many months of working experience that you have, how many years of working experience you have total, whether it's inside Canada, whether it's outside Canada, and based on your age, and based on your family connection, based on your job offer, if it is a rural area job offer, if it is an urban area job offer, like that. So these things are really important, because then when you have this chart, then you can get an idea before you create the EOI, roughly that how much points that you're getting. This will be important for you to decide if you are kind of jumping between two streams, that which should I apply. This point grid is important for you to see, which pathway that you should go, plus considering that allocations that been allocated. So now we'll talk about the express entry. I'll go through, since we're going to do another webinar regarding express entry. I'll talk a little bit about express entry, because we got many nominations recently from the draws that happened in December and January. As you can see, the Canadian experience class the invitations, like the cutoff mark is going down. So it started from recently started from 500. For example, if I start from the November 531, this one is high. December 10th, it came 520. And the December 16th, 515. And then again went down January 7th, 511. And the very latest one, couple of days ago, 509. But if you think, I don't think this will go like down over like 500, because when you see the allocations right now, these are the numbers we should take into consideration. Between 501 and 600, still they are almost 16,000. Between 601 and 1200, these are the people almost have the nomination from the provinces, and they got the 600 on the top of their original CRS score. There are 670. This all going to go from the next row. So this is the most of our clients who are in the, like, in this is between that, and also there are many in here as well. So I don't think this will go beyond lower than 500. So we'll from the next express entry the webinar will be discussing about how you increase your CRS score. Again, coming back to the draws. So this is how the draws has been behave last couple of months. And the other thing is, one thing that I need to highlight about the French draw. You can see it's 399. I know the studying is French. When I'm talking with my client, they are kind of reluctant to do this, but I would highly recommend of starting the French, because as you know, they also recently, a couple of days ago, the immigration minister said they will be allocating 5,000 extra additional allocations for French speakers. If you see that the allocations website for the nominations, they also mention over here the additional federal spaces, right? Up to 10,000 federal immigration spaces are available across all provinces nominee programs, or for provinces and territories to nominate practice-ready physicians and the francophones. The main thing is this 10,000 not gonna affect this 6,403. The 6,403 is separate. Addition to this amount, they're allocating another 10,000 for francophones and also the physicians as well. So keep in mind, this is really important. If you are reluctant and then you kind of scared, or you kind of very complex situation that your PGWP or the closed work permit is expiring, this is a good opportunity, because if you study French, you can even extend your your work permit without a LMIA. If you're PGWP, you can convert your permit to a closed work permit without a LMIA by getting this LMIA exempt code within a couple of minutes. So that's regarding that. And if you see the immigration level plan for 2026 and 2028, you can see the permanent resident allocations for this year, 3,800, 3,000, like 80,000. And if you can see that for this year, these are the already been issued. These are the already been issued. And the other thing is, one thing is, do not confuse this part. 380,000 PR mean, let's say, for example, if you get a family of 4, there are 4 permanent residences. This is not the 380,000 families. There are 380,000 permanent residences. If it is a family of 2, then there are 2 permanent residences. So you should keep in mind that. So these are the ones that already received the invitation so far from January to up until now. And also, I know that many clients who are on LMIA-based work permit, they kind of complex situation because their employers are not eligible to apply for work permit, apply for LMIAs. Recently, on January 9th, they updated the towns or the cities who are eligible to apply for low wage LMIAs. But this gonna last long only till April 9th. Again, April 9th, they're gonna update this chart. So if you can see, there are many cities which came down, but unfortunately, none of the major cities in Alberta are not lucky, because if you can see, the eligibility 7.8, because the unemployment rate should be 6% or higher, sorry, 6% or lower to apply for low wage LMIAs. 7.2 Lethbridge, Calgary 6.3. I'm happy that it came down because it was 8, now it's 6.3. And the Red Deer went up from 8.7 to 8.9. Edmonton was 9 and it came down to 6.9. This is because most of the people had to leave the city because of their work permit are expiring. All right. And surprisingly, there were some towns like main cities, the Vancouver came to 5.9. Victoria was always down. So refer to this chart if you are moving to another town, to extending your PGWP extending your PGWP mean converting your PGWP from open work permit to a closed work permit, or if you're looking at an employer to extend your closed work permit, consider about this chart. Other thing is Winnipeg. Winnipeg was we have a couple of employers that we are working with. It came down 5.7. Thunder Bay 4.2. It was always below 6%. So these are the I want to give you an overview about But the thing is, if you study French, you don't have to worry about that because it's not going to fall under LMIA. So this is regarding about a little bit about away from the Alberta nominee program, and also the stream that I want to talk about, make a link for our next webinar. So coming back to this creating the Alberta nominee program, what I want to mention you is how to create this EOI. So when you put your email and passwords, this is going to be the first page that that you'll be getting. And then when you go to this page, if you have already created an EOI, you can check about from your existing EOIs. And if you want to create a new EOI, you should go from here. They're gonna ask you to wait, because if there's many people in the queue. And then after that, they're gonna give you a questionnaire for you to fill. And then after that, you can put your information. Let me see whether within this time period whether I will be able. Seems not. Yeah. Okay. So this is basically the EOI portal. When you create in an express EOI for whatever the category that you are applying, you can choose the stream from here. You can put your name, and then you can put here whether you have a valid work permit issued, whether you have a express entry, whether you're in express entry pool. You should mention your highest education, right? And then if your highest education is outside Canada, you should mention that you have an ECA. If you do not have an ECA, you cannot proceed. And then your English proficiency, French proficiency, if you have both, you're going to get more marks. Your working experience, you should mention whether it's in Alberta or outside Alberta. You should mention your age, then your connection, whether you have family, whether you have a job offer. If it is in a rural town, then you're going to get 6 points, right? Your location of the employment, and then you have to click all those. And then based on that, you can create your EOI, and based on your points, when they do a draw, if you're selected, they're gonna send you the invitation. Once you receive the invitation, you're gonna go to your portal, then you're gonna submit the supporting documents. And then once you get the nomination, you can apply for the you can apply for the non-express entry draw. Other two things that actually I came across recently that I want to inform you is some questions that I come across last week. We had a client, like, whose PGWP is expiring, and then that the client says, I don't have to worry that I can stay in Canada because I have applied for TRV. Even though you have a TRV, that doesn't mean after your PGWP expired, you can stay in Canada. Because the thing is, you should have a visitor record, not your TRV. So if you're a person who's under this, who's in this kind of a situation, don't think since you have a TRV, you can stay in Canada for another 6 months and you can explore the opportunities of extending your PGWP. Convert your PGWP to a visitor record, but unfortunately, you'll not be able to work. Okay, so this is exactly like, what I want to mention, give the information for you. So then next one, we can go to our Q&A and answer the questions. Over to you, Kamadi.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Sachira, for sharing all the details about the Alberta nomination program, as well as sharing the website during the session. I am sure all the participants were able to gather many insights and many information that they didn't know previously about the program. Without further taking time, we will on to the Q&A session. I've seen many questions come up in the chat box. We will go one by one. I will read out the questions so Mr. Sachira is able to answer them. If any of you guys still have questions nagging in your mind, just type it in the chat box so we can attend the questions one after the other in the order we received them in the chat box. Okay, Mr. Sachura, the first question we have is, without a bachelor, is it possible to apply for PR but having French language and IELTS?
Yeah, so I would recommend of having a bachelor's because yes, you can, because if you have the French language and IELTS, it make you higher possibility for receive the invitation, especially because of the French. Like I mentioned earlier, last time when if I go through the invitation that received, so when it comes to French proficiency draw that conducted in December 17th, 2025, the cutoff is 399. So they were issued almost 6,000 invitation. Having the French language, CLB 7, you're gonna higher possibility you're gonna receive an invitation. But having a bachelor's, it's okay. But if you can have master's, that would be great. Okay, Ms. Kamadi, I'll go through the questions. I believe it's easy. Okay, so second one, they mentioned that I'm finishing a co-op program in marketing from school in BC. I have been working in a retail store for 2 years and 2 year and a half. Already have an employer letter. Am I allowed to apply for program based on tier 5? So here's the thing. You studied in BC, right? And then you have working experience in 2.5. If you accumulate this working experience while you are studying, it's not going to work. But if it is the working experience that accumulated you on PGWP, then it's good. But the thing is, if it is tier 5, it's not going to work for the express entry. Neither Alberta programs except the rural renewal stream. But when it comes to the rural renewal stream, you can apply, but you should be intent to live in those rural communities, and you should be working in those communities. If that's the case, then you'll be able, but you need to have an endorsement letter from that town. Then you ask, can I apply for AINP from outside Canada? Yes, you can, but you need to have a job offer. Then it says, I'm in a closed work permit. It's going to expire on February 23rd. But I got a job offer and my LMIA submission is in process. What is the process next? So what you can do is you can use your LMIA submission letter. Based on that, you can extend your work permit. However, by the time that you receive your work permit decision, you need to have approved LMIA under your name. As soon as you get your LMIA based work permit, as soon as you get the LMIA approval, submit that LMIA through web form before the decision. I would recommend of this time, but see look into the timeline. As soon as you get the LMIA, make sure to do that. Otherwise, they're going to refuse the work permit, saying that you do not have a work permit. By the time you get the work permit decision, your work permit is expired. Then you have 90 days to restore that one. Or otherwise, what you can do is you can apply for the visitor record and also the work permit extension at the same time for the safer side. So next they ask, I'm doing a master's in UK. Can I apply for that? If you have a job offer, you can apply for the rural renewal stream, or otherwise you can apply for express entry as well. I'm an IT master's holder from Sri Lanka. Can I apply? Yes, you can. If you have a job offer, you can apply. If I complete my master's degree in Alberta, but my bachelor degree in Sri Lanka, do I need to get my bachelor degree evaluated West? No, it is not, because your highest education qualification is master's. It's Canadian degree. What are the pathways if I get job offer from Alberta, but studies in BC? Rural renewal stream is the best pathway for you. What is the best way to get a job in Alberta? Are there any specific job board in Alberta? There's no specifically for Alberta, but you can go through the LinkedIn, Job Bank. There are other job website that you can apply, or otherwise you can simply call the employers as well. Kind of less possibility, but I know some of our clients got the opportunities through that. And then is a constructions not under tech pathway? No, they have a priority stream which falls under which the construction pathway falls into that. Tech pathway is regarding mostly the technological side. I have worked for one company for 11 months and 20 days, and another company for 20 days, and another company for 16 months back home. Both are foreign experience. Can I claim as 2 years for the express entry? As long as it's a skill category, if it complete the 24 months, then you can claim that one. It's a company that gives the endorsement letter. Yeah, the employer is the one who receiving the endorsement letter. What they do is they should communicate with the economic development officer of the town, and they're going to issue that. I have practicing as a lawyer in Sri Lanka for past 9 years. I wish to migrate with my wife and 2 kids. My wife and I hold valid visa until 2030 and 2028 respectively. I visited Canada in October 2025. So this one we have to see based on your education qualification, your age, and other experience, what kind of a stream that you are eligible. There may be like, higher IELTS score, French score that you'll have to achieve if you can apply for direct PR. Yeah. Um, So the other thing is, my husband is food and beverage manager and 33 years old. And can I apply for this program as an offshore applicant? How to find an LMIA-based work permit? Basically, if you are age of 33, if you have a job offer, you can apply. In order to find an LMIA-based work permit, there are job opportunities, especially in job bank, because if an employer finding temporary foreign worker from outside Canada or inside Canada, it's a must to do the job posting um, in uh, in uh, in the Canadian job bank, so you can find a eligible employer from there. And also, I'm 35 years old. Should we choose to Australia or Canada for migration? I was thinking whether we should apply for student visa as a student of Masters of Research to Australia, or using skill migration to Australia, or using Canadian programs. With this age, which is best way to get PR soon? This is very tricky question. So when it comes to Australia and Canada, yes, there are in Australia also I have heard, but I'm not licensed to practice the PR pathways in in Australia. But however, as an ardent immigration, we have Australian lawyer. You can contact us. You can contact Ardent Immigration. They will be able to help you regarding that. What I would recommend is, if you contact us, I can give you an idea about the student pathways and the PR pathways for your like based on your profile. And then if you contact Ardent Immigration, you can contact Mr. Tusita. He's also an Australian lawyer who's residing in Australia. You can contact him and get an idea about Australian pathways available for you, and then you can get the decision based on the information that we are providing. And also mention, I'm currently on LMIA work permit over 1 year and 6 months. I also have 13 years of working experience back home. I have CLB test score 8886. My certificate evaluation is 3-year diploma and 1 year postgraduate certificate. I'm 49 years old. After filling the form, my score is 49. What can I do? Mostly because of your age. Your score is good if you can get that the CLB, that number 6, also to another number like CLB 8. That would be great. My only thing is, what I can see the downside of your age. I know that's not something that you can change, but the other thing what you can do is you can do French. You can get your education high. Based on that, I would say there will be a possibility. However, what I would recommend is, I know that there are some profile based on the immigration pathways that has been introduced. They are not eligible for the PR pathways. Unfortunately, I should be frank with you. I also have a feeling, as a person who's been in the immigration industry as an immigration lawyer and an immigration consultant. This immigration system will change, but not right away. I would recommend, of if your option is not leaving the country while whatever the streams are processing, the best thing is to extend your stay somehow. Maybe getting an LMIA, or maybe doing falling under the LMIA exempt categories, these kind of things. Uh, Currently on PGWP from Jan to 16 2025 to 2029. Completed master's degree in management from New Brunswick. currently looking for job offer under NOC codes. You have given your past working experience. I would recommend of contacting us. And then if you are studied in New Brunswick, there are New Brunswick nominee program, which is very easy to get the provincial nomination, which we have done many. That also something that you can consider. Other thing is, I would say rather than moving to another province, staying in New Brunswick, try to get the provincial nomination or the express entry would be great. Rather than, because some of the clients that who are in Ontario, BC, when they ask the question always, I want to move to another province, where should I move? I always say the Atlantic provinces. If you are in Atlantic provinces, I don't not recommend of moving to another province. You are in a good province that higher possibility to receive the PR. I have BC, Computer Network and MSc IT, 10 years working experience. Wife completed NVQ4 caregiver, 480 hours training. What is the best option? You can apply for express entry and also the provincial nominee program as well. This depending on which province that you are in. And also mentioned when creating EOI, you have your highest education outside Canada, which is a bachelor, and you have a diploma in Canada, which should be the ideal to use. So your highest education qualification, always the bachelor's, and you need to have the best as well. Having the diploma in Canada gonna add you more points. I have completed BSc Hans computing degree in University UK, and I have more than 8 years and working in Sri Lanka. And I've got a IELTS 5. I would recommend of getting higher IELTS. IELTS 5 is not enough. Visited Canada in 2025, 10 years multiple entry to Canada. This if you the since that you have if you have a bachelor's, you can apply for master's, but depending on your age, or otherwise you can apply for LMIA based work permit. Yeah, you can search for employers in Canadian Job Bank, or other way is applying for PR, but this depending on your age. But when it comes to IELTS 5, you'll not be eligible. In order to eligible for federal skilled worker program, which is the outside Canada applicants, you should have at least each band 7 or higher. Can I do distance MBA on another country and use it to increase express entry? Yes, definitely you can. It's a really good question. I have recommended many of our students. So as an ardent immigration, there's something that I need to highlight with this question. When all our students or the LMIA based work permits that we have done so far, we are maintaining our different WhatsApp platform. We do continuous workshops for them, but we do not post those on Facebook, because the thing is, these kind of webinars we are aiming not mostly existing clients, but the new clients. But for existing clients, we do workshops to increase their CRS score. So one of the things I tell them, even for students, once they landed as students, I explain them what they should do from the beginning. They should contact us 3 months prior to their program finish, and then we're going to start their PR from the PR pathway from there. We advise them what they can do. If they have the bachelor's, they can do foreign masters. There are in foreign countries, there are masters affiliated with, like the countries like UK, Australia. You can do for the cheaper amount. And simultaneously, you can accumulate foreign experience while you studying or working in Canada. For example, if you're working as an admin assistant in Canada, you can virtually work for another company outside Canada. When you create in an express entry profile, that working experience, if it is skill working experience, you can add to your express entry profile. So these are things that you have to think out of the box. For that, you need to contact an immigration professionals, not the information in the Facebook groups, not your friends. Because your friend's story may be 100% different to your case. The immigration officer who's looking at your profile, not the same immigration officer looking at your your profile. Is different. So make sure that you contacted the right people to get right information. How do we find the jobs? I'll go to the next question. How do we find the jobs that give LMIA? If you search on Google, there are employers who are ineligible to give LMIA based on previous, fines and everything, things that they have done. But if you go to the Canadian Job Bank, if you go every job posting, they have mentioned what kind of employees that they are looking, whether it's outside Canada, whether it's inside Canada. So based on that, you can contact them. You can directly call them. Maybe you live in another province, you can directly contact them and ask whether they are hiring. You can send their CVs like that. So next question is, I applied for EOI under construction sector 2 weeks ago, and my PGWE is set to expire in May. I have also created Express Entry profile. What do you recommend I do regarding my work permit? Is there any way to contact Alberta PNP to push my application process? I currently have 67 points is good. If your PGWP is expiring, the one thing what you can do is check with your employer whether your employer is willing to give you an LMIA. One thing. Other thing is study French. Try to get the LMIA exempt work permit. Calling them is not gonna work. I'm telling you from my own experience. They're not gonna do that. So don't waste your time. Try to increase your score. Try to increase the possibility of staying in Canada. Let's say, for example, your PGWP expired. Convert your PGWP to visitor record, but unfortunately, you'll not be able to work. Or otherwise, this not be something that you're willing to hear. You can leave the Canada still that you are permit that your profiles are in the system. You maybe receive an invitation. That also going to be another way. I'm working in a permanent full-time position with government of Alberta on PGWP. My NOC code is eligible for Tech Pathway. Am I eligible to apply through Tech Pathway or Opportunity Stream, even though this is a government job? You can apply through the Tech Pathway. I applied for an EOI under construction sector 2 weeks ago. And my PG, I believe this is the same question. Yeah. So again, to that the PGWP thing. So what you should do is check with if it is a no. So yeah, check with your employer whether that employer is willing to give you an LMIA. If the employer is not willing to give you LMIA or employee is not eligible, for example, if the employee is in Calgary, they should offer you per hour 36 or higher. Sometimes employees might not happy to do that. Without depending on the employer, try to get an LMIA exempt work permit. But the employer should pay $230 to the government. We call the employer compliance fee. Then, if that's the case, you'll be able to extend your work permit right away. I believe this is all the questions. Over to you, Kamadi.
Thank you, Mr. Sashara. We do have a participant who wish to share the question via audio, but I should warn you that we to consider your concerns regarding privacy if you're sharing too many personal details about yourself on a public platform. We encourage you to contact us separately so we can provide you with a customized consultation to consider your specific situations. But otherwise, you are free to post your question, share the question with us. I believe it's Abu.
Hi, yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, thank you so much for your presentations. It's given us a lot of insights with regards to this immigrations pathways. Actually, I'm a permanent resident. I've been living in Toronto for several years, but I'm representing a few of my friends who are Sri Lankan nationals. They are a matured professionals who've got more than 10 years of experience in the construction industry. And also, a few of them are legal qualified professionals like lawyers and attorney at laws. Since they are living outside of Canada, so I would like to know, since they are the matured candidates, so I would like to know the possibility in Alberta nominee programs, considering the fact that, now the population increase in Canada, but those peoples are experts. They are willing to contribute to the country. So where they're going to migrate, or they are willing to migrate, I would say. So that's my first question. So I'm not sure, is this very generic, or so you'd like to share some insights on that?
Yeah, thank you, Abu. When it comes to if they are from the legal field, if I say if they are lawyers, it's a regulatory job. For them, depending on their age and depending on their education, qualification, and working experience, there are other pathways that they can migrate to Canada as students and also the direct PR. But if you're a lawyer in Sri Lanka, you cannot not be able to get a job offer, because the thing is, let's say, for example, you're working as a cook in outside Canada, you landed today, from tomorrow, you can work as a cook. But if you are a lawyer outside Canada, you come to Canada today, tomorrow you cannot work as a lawyer because you need to get the license. Like I mentioned in the licensing requirement, they should fulfill the licensing requirement. But if their profile is strong, even though they need a license, they can apply for express entry. Or otherwise, they can come to Canada as a student, and then based on the province, based on express entries for sure, regardless of the province, based on their province, they can apply for the provincial nominee programs as well. So these are the pathways that they have. When it comes to the constructions, most of the constructions jobs, Abu, you don't need a license. Construction workers, estimators, civil engineers, but there are some associations. For example, when it comes to civil engineers, they might need. But if they are coming as a civil engineering technician, then they might not need. So there are some categories that they can apply as a student, as a worker, and also on express entry as well. This everything depend on how strong their profile is. But if someone applying from outside Canada, I would highly recommend of having them ways of adding additional points. Having a brother or sister who is a permanent resident or Canadian citizen, they're going to get 15 points. Having the French qualification, they're going to fall under French category. And the other thing is, if you complete the French category, you might see in that during the webinar, I was talking multiple times about and also emphasizing about the French thing. You are outside Canada, construction field, you have completed your French without a LMIA. Getting this LMIA exempt code gonna take about only just 2 to 3 minutes. You can apply for the LMIA exempt work permit. So these are pathways available, especially for constructions. In Alberta, there are construction is a priority stream. Most of the provinces, including Alberta as well, that also stream that they can apply. But when it comes to those profiles, I always recommend, when it comes to immigration advisors, it depending on case by case basis. This thing depend on their age. This thing depending on your language requirement. This thing depend on their spouse language requirement, education, and the working experience. And the main applicants working experience, these kind of categories. Because based on if it is direct PR, based on that they're gonna get marks, and then we can see what kind of a stream that they're eligible. Most of the provincial nominee programs, you need job offer. Except if you go to Manitoba nominee program, if you have an immediate family member or a close friend without a job offer, you can apply for Manitoba nominee program. We have done a webinar regarding that as well. But when it comes to the Alberta nominee program, almost most of the time that you need to have a job offer. That is regarding Alberta nominee program. Expressly depending on their profile. But for student, based on their age, their how they are academically strong. If you're coming as a worker, how they are professionally and working experience wise, how strong they are, and also the English level based on they can apply for work. So there are streams that are available for them.
Oh, thank you, Sachira. I think you've well said. You've covered most of my questions, to be honest. Thank you so much. But I would like to extend in my questions a bit more, particular to the construction stream. I think you well said that the construction estimator is also part of that stream. And that's high demand in Alberta province. But those guys, who I've mentioned are a mature candidate. So I'm pretty sure that the ages are more than 35 or 38, right? So I wonder whether they can use the express entry stream, considering their age factors. But on the other hand, I wonder whether they can get the LMIA, which is unlikely possible at this stage. So in that case, particularly for the construction estimators, highly qualified quantity survey. To be honest, I'm working in a company which is the tier 1 consultant. We also shortage of the qualified construction estimators, to be honest with you, across Canada. So I'm thinking, is there any possible way for them to apply through a PNP program in Alberta or the other provinces? If you could elaborate your experience, would be highly appreciated.
Thank you, Abu. So basically, if they're gonna apply for Manitoba without a job offer, they can apply for Alberta nominee. Manitoba without a job offer, they can apply for Manitoba nominee program if they have a close friend or a close relative. When it comes to the Alberta nominee program, they need to have a job offer to apply for the Alberta nominee program, even maybe for the opportunity streams, express entry stream, express entry stream and the rural renewal streams, you need to have a job offer. If they're going to apply for express entry, if it is age of 35, I believe they have working experience over 6 years. And then if they can get higher IELTS or French, they can apply for express entry. Age of 35, to be honest, I do not recommend of applying for student permit based on the current refusal rates right now. But then only possible way that they can apply is express entry and the Alberta nominee, that rural renewal stream with a job offer, or without a job offer if they have the close relatives in Manitoba, or otherwise LMIA-based work permit. LMIA-based work permit also possible, but when it comes to the estimator, they should find an employer. If it is an urban area, the employer should willing to pay them $36 or higher. Or if it is an other area, like which is the unemployment rate is lower than 6%, then still they can apply for low wage LMIA, but they're getting only just 1 year work permit only. But if you get a high wage LMIA, which is 36 per hour or higher, then they get 2-year work permit.
Right. Thanks, Ajay. I don't want to extend my questions. I'll try to leave the rooms for others. I'll try to connect with you guys offline. I have a few more questions to ask. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Abu, for the interesting questions. I believe slowly we have come to the end of the session. We do have another question on the sheet, Mr. Sashiri, if you would want to answer that?
Yeah. So it says I studied a 2-year diploma in BC, hold 3 years of managerial work experience in OC 0 level, which is good. I have a sibling stay in Alberta. Is there any pathway for me to Alberta PNP? The only way is the rural renewal stream because you studied in diploma, like you studied diploma in BC. So the other way is you also can apply for Alberta, like the express entry stream. You can mention your intended province as Alberta. I believe you have an express entry profile because you hold the 3-year working experience as in Aussie 0 because you get 15 points from your sibling if your sibling is a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident.
Thank you, Mr. Sashira. So we are slowly moving to the end of our session today. I wholeheartedly want to thank each and every one of you for staying with us throughout the session. And this is the small surprise we are giving you today for being with us. So in case if you want to contact us, if you would contact us regarding your legal matters, immigration or any other legal matters, we will be offering you a 15% discount on the legal fees we usually charge for when you contact us. But in order to make sure that you are claiming the discount just because you took part in the webinar today, I would want to make a small request from all of you to just to switch on your videos for one or couple of seconds so that we can all get a screenshot of your pretty faces in it, and then you can just email us the screenshot. We'll post the screenshot on our socials, so you can download the screenshot and send it to us when you are contacting us via email, so we know that you are claiming the discount because you attended today's session. So I would request you all to uh, on your videos for a couple of seconds, if that's okay with you guys. I know it's Saturday, it's the weekend, most of y'all are relaxing at your home, but I would appreciate if you would just take a few seconds out to share your pretty faces with us. Thank you so much. Okay, so as you can see, we have mentioned our contact details on the screen. Our phone number, if you're contacting Ardent Law Group, is +1, the country code 825-540-7584. That's our landline. Our email address would be admin@ardentlawgroup.ca. We are based in Calgary downtown, so it's in the 8th Street Southwest. But if you want to contact Ardent Immigration for stuff relating to maybe there were questions about Australian immigration, about immigration pathways to other countries as well, you can email them at contact@ardentcanadavisa.com, contact@ardentcanadavisa.com. The phone number you would have to use is +1. Just give me a second. +1 587-717-1991, +1 587-717-1991. That would be on WhatsApp. Our website is ardentlawgroup.ca, and for the immigration of the website would be ardentimmigration.com. We do have a raise hand. Let me see. Yes, I think you can unmute yourself, Sam. Hello, Sam. You have to unmute yourself. We wouldn't be able to hear you if not. Okay, maybe you would have to email us your concern, then we will be able to assist you then. Uh, Without taking any more time of you guys' weekend out, we will conclude the session. Thank you so much again for joining, everyone. We hope to conduct another episode of our Road to PR in Canada webinar series in a very recent coming days. So we hope every one of you would join these sessions as well, so you can find out more options that are available for you to secure your permanent residency and the citizenship eventually in Canada. So thank you very much again, guys. Have a good rest of the day for those who are joining us from Canada and from any other parts of the world, which is uh, about to go to sleep. Have a good night, and we will see you again in our future sessions.